Motorists and public utility drivers are reeling from the effects of rising fuel prices. But can we expect a reprieve soon? We now talk to Director Rino from the Department of Energy Oil Industry Management Bureau. Good morning, Director Abad. Thank you so much for joining us and taking our call. So another big-time oil price hike took effect yesterday. We want to talk about figures. Okay, diesel went up by 13 pesos, gas by 7, and kerosene by 10 pesos. That's the 11th straight week of fuel price hikes. Can you tell us about the situation that we're looking at right now? Can we expect more price increases in the coming weeks, or will it finally go down and follow the trend in the global market?
From the observations that we had in the past few weeks, the price of crude oil is actually very volatile, but it had keep on increasing because of the sustained pronouncements from the U.S., U.K., EU of the sanctions against Russia. But recently, there was a statement from the Ukrainian president that they're not interested anymore in actually joining the NATO, and that paved the way for the Russian counterpart to respond that they're now willing to sit down with Ukraine and the United States for talks. And coupled with, of course, the recent surges of COVID in Singapore, and but notably in China, which actually imposed a massive lockdown. So those are really the two main this week. The recent reports that immediately provided us reasons why the crude oil prices immediately went down from a day transaction last week versus this morning, yesterday.
All right, so you're saying prices indeed have gone down because of various developments across the world. When will we start to feel that here in the Philippines?
What we do, Ma'am Rhea, is to average the trading prices of last week and then compared it to the average of this week. It's a cyclic way of computing the adjustment on a weekly basis when you talk about implementation of adjustment. But the day-to-day trading is being counted on as part of the average for the week. So we will be expecting the effect of this week compared to last week in the incoming week.
Okay, so we can expect, hopefully, that in the coming week, bababa na yung presyo ng gas at diesel and kerosene.
That would be the effect of because the adjustment for this week is already effective until probably usually until Monday next week. So to be specific, nandun tayo sa Tuesday next week na pwedeng makakita ng adjustment.
All right.
For the effect of the trading this week, the whole week of this week.
Are you able to tell us, Director Abad, how big this rollback might be next week?
We will not be able to really give an exact figure, but so far to date, on the Monday trading result, it's actually a massive rollback. So this would also actually wipe out the entire increase that we experienced this week. So so far, we hope that there are no adverse pronouncements again from the U.S., from EU, or from UK, which actually affect immediately. On a daily basis, they affect the crude oil price.
All right, that seems to be music to everybody's ears. We've had reports, Director, that there are motorists filling up empty containers before the price hikes take effect. Has this or will this affect supply if this practice continues?
Well, that has been reported, and we actually we will be issuing an order to the oil companies not to entertain the so-called hoarding type of purchases. They could actually exercise discretion. It's practically visible if you could classify a hoarding type of purchases. Yeah, you would actually see the type that you bring a barrel, for example. So we would issue an order to the oil companies not to entertain those type of purchases, so we can avoid temporary shortages on the level of the gasoline station.
Director, aside from the proposed suspension of the fuel excise tax, what else can be done in the short term to address or bring down fuel prices?
Well, the government has been addressing what we call the targeted relief program. We have from the PUB sector of what we call the Pantawid Pasada. The government has allocated originally 2.5 billion pesos, and 2 weeks ago, the EDC, or the Economic Development Cluster, proposed to the President for an increase of an additional 2.5. So in total, that would become 5 billion pesos. And we also have a counterpart in the farmers, on the side of the farmers and fishermen, originally with 500 million pesos fuel assistance, but it was also increased to 1.1 billion pesos. So these are unfortunately targeted. It's not across the board type of fiscal support, but they are actually targeted to the most vulnerable sector of our society.
Right, konting tulong even if it's very short term.
Yes.
Director Abad, thank you so much for joining us. That was Director Rino Abad from the Energy Department. Government